So you have 90 seconds, maybe less. That's how long you have before the person in front of you, whether it's a client, a customer, a buyer, or someone at a networking event, decides that at least mentally they're going to keep on listening or they're going to move on. Today, I'm going to give you a few steps that will help you make the most of those 90 seconds. Hi, I'm Kristen, and this is a new series where I break down the sort of building blocks of how to talk about your business effectively. So no fluff, just a framework, easy things to remember for any situation. It doesn't matter if you're a contractor, a consultant, or even a business owner. These are things that you can easily use every day, starting today. So the thing about pitches and the thing about people talking about their business or even themselves, they fall into two camps. You either have the person who gets nervous, doesn't know what to say, can't find words, is stumbling over the words, or you get the other person who there aren't enough words. They want to tell you everything. Which one do you fall into? For me, I fall securely into I love a word. I use too many words. I've been told I'm verbose. If you're verbose, you probably know what that means. It means you use too many words. So if I'm successful today, I'm going to hone that urge and I'm going to focus on giving you the 5 simple things that you need to know to make the most of those 90 seconds every time starting today, because it's about connection. So if that sounds interesting, let's go. The research on first impressions tells us that people form an opinion about you within the first 30 seconds. And once that opinion or observation or what have you is set, it is really hard to beat. It's hard to undo it. So a pitch that starts strong and stays focused beats one that rambles and tries to make up for it at the end every single time. The thing I see most is that business owners are excited. They want to tell you about everything. This is my problem. They bring every credential, every, success, and you just can't absorb all that information. So, the saying, read the room. Who's in the room? Who are you talking to? You need to decide what is most important for the room you're in and the person you're talking to or the industry you're serving, and focus on that. So here's a framework. Again, 5 parts. 1 sentence for each part. You memorize the structure. You do not memorize the script. You want it to sound authentic. So part 1 is the hook. Part 2 is the problem you solve. Part 3 is you. What's your unique position? Part 4 is the proof. And part 5 is the ask. And never forget part 5. It's the most important part. So let's dive deeper into these 5 sections. The hook, where you start, is who you are in one memorable line. It is not your legal name and the services you provide. It is a sentence that makes someone want to hear the next one. For example, for me, I would probably lead with, my name, obviously. I help small businesses without a procurement background win their first corporate contracts. It's clear, it's succinct, it's simple, and it raises a question that my customer will likely want answered. The second is the problem you solve, stated in terms that are not necessarily about what you're selling, but in terms that that person understands the problem from the work they do. So it would probably sound, for my customer, something like, small businesses lose corporate contract opportunities before they're even in the room because they don't understand what buyers or how buyers are evaluating suppliers. The third piece is your unique position. Why you? I mean, seriously, why specifically you? And not just someone else that provides a similar service. This is where your background, your awards, your accolades, etc., have a place succinctly. For me, it would be so I spent years building corporate supplier diversity programs. So I know exactly what buyers are looking for before you ever pitch. So 4 is the proof. One concrete result, not 3, not 5, one that really illustrates the value you bring. And ideally, it has a number. For me, it might be something like I've helped customers go from 0 corporate contracts to 3 in under a year. And the 5th is the ask. One clear, specific next step. If you ask something vaguely, or if you wrap up vaguely, I always call it, hey, great talking to you. Thanks for everything. Let's chat. Let's connect next week. That vague result, does it get a meeting? Probably not. For me, I like to sort of end it with, I'd love to walk you through what I do and how it could work for your company. Do you have 15 minutes to grab coffee next week? What works for you? You've asked a question that they have to answer. They can say no. Maybe the time doesn't work or what have you, but you've opened a door to a next step. And so you can follow up later. So if I put all 5 parts together, it's going to sound something like this. I help small businesses win their first corporate contracts without having a procurement background. Most small businesses lose corporate opportunities before they get in the room because they don't understand how buyers evaluate suppliers. I spent 25 years building corporate supplier diversity programs, and I know what buyers are looking for before you even pitch. I've helped companies go from 0 corporate contracts to 3 corporate contracts valued at $2 million annually in under a year. I'd love to walk you through what I do and how I can help your company. Do you have 15 minutes next week to chat or grab coffee? So that's the whole thing. Typically, I read it a lot over and over and over again so that I have it sort of sinks in my mind and becomes much more natural. You want this to be authentic. The last thing you want is to sound like a robot or not to sound like you. This should be authentic. It should be 60 to 90 seconds. It should answer those questions. It should be succinct, but it should also sound like you. So in this framework is really good for boardrooms, for sales situations, but it's also good when you walk into a conference room or when you want to send a cold email. It's a great framework for that. If you want to do a cold call or if you're on a Zoom and somebody asks you about what you do, these are all great situations. You're not memorizing it. You're just adjusting it to the situation you're in and the people who are listening to you, whether it's for business or it's your neighbor asking the annoying question, so what do you do? If you want to build yours step by step, I've got a link in the description and in the first comment. I put together a full worksheet that walks you through every part. It's got a practice log and a feedback checklist. And for a limited time, you can go out to my Stand store and grab a free 15-minute conversation with me, and we can go over it together. So again, the link's in the description, but even without it, you've got the framework. We've talked about it. You know it. So just go write your 5 sentences. So if this has been interesting, if you learned a little something, I'd love a like, a subscribe, all the buttons, and also a comment. Maybe it's something that you're taking away, or maybe it's something you'd like to see. My goal is to provide small, local, and diverse businesses, and really anyone watching YouTube, with the tools they need to talk about themselves and their business in a way that helps them build their business. I've enjoyed recording this. I hope you have too. I'll see you in the next one, which will probably be about writing a capability statement. It's really exciting. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.